kings and priests. He had made us. God. You know, some people will think, it doesn't concern me anything that happens in the nation. You are praying for the nations. But it's not some people's business. Their business is to get a good job and buy a good car and have a house on mortgage or whatever it is and travel. Some people, that is just their goal. And there's nothing wrong with it. But let me tell you, what both of you are putting in is different. What both of you are putting in. Okay, look at 10 months. This is 10 months. So in 10 months, I tell people, what have you done in 10 months? You say, but I attend church. No, it's not about attending church. So in that place that you say you are, what are your responsibilities in that place? In that same place, their fathers, maybe ministers of the gospel or pastors, and they've walked this walk. They've seen their parents pray. They've had devotional every day since they were younger, which is good. It forms a child. When the child becomes independent or goes to school or away from home, that's the kind of life the child has seen, and that is what the child will live. But some of us didn't have that privilege. What I mean, they didn't have that privilege means the kind of privilege I saw that some of us had was when we came to church. I mean, when I left the First Gospel Church in January 96 with seven of my friends. Yeah, we left the Christ Embassy together. That was in January 1996. One of the things I tell people which I love mostly and which I thank God for Reverend Chris, which I thank God so much for him. The inspirations were wild that I got. As a young boy, then on Sunday mornings like this, 7 a.m. before we go to church, then I started going to church at this time. KICC in London, then they were in Hackney. These were the early churches that were on TV. You would see people that would sit in London in the morning. And I would see them on a Sunday morning. Hey, these people are in London. Wow. This is maybe 92 now, 93. I would say, wow. The man will be preaching. And, it was on TV. There's an early broadcast around past 7 because we have to be in church by 8. Around that 7 when we are running to quickly go and get the bus to go to church. And I would see them. I would say, Lord, one day, myself, I will be able to sit in. So we were sitting in a pew, but it was in a local setting. Not really local setting, but it was still okay. Do you understand? And I would see them. I would say, wow, one day, we too, we're going to have this privilege to go to some of these countries and be able to do these things. And I heard God's Spirit in me and said, you will do them. See, in 1997, when I came to Christ Embassy, let me tell you something, because that's what some people don't understand. The first thing when I got to Christ Embassy, what I saw was that you could become anything. Do you understand? You could become anything. You could become anything. You could become anything. What do I mean? The word of God that was being taught, it was that it's a level playground. It is left for you to pick this word and start doing it. I'm telling you, and pick it and start doing it. When I got to church in 96, they followed me up only once. And I told the lady, I said, no, you don't need to follow me up. I said, I will join you to follow other people up. That was my first president in the teenage group that I joined. And in a few months, my president got her green card on her way to America, to Chicago. And when my pastor called me, our pastor called us and said, Father Kemi is going to Chicago. You are going to be president in a few weeks, in few days, or 2-3 weeks later. I said, Ma, Really? That me too. I would love to go to America. She not laugh. In the Wednesday service, because we had a valedictory for her on the Wednesday service. So our pastor was saying, how many of you, if they give you a visa today, you will go to America? You see all the young people in our church, everybody was up. He said, how many of you? They stood up. I stood up with them. She said, Nee, sit down. I said, I was like, why would she tell me? So she now said, what you want is good. Because Fadikem is going to Chicago. All of you is good. She said, America is nice. It's a good place. She said, I have been there. She just said, you cannot sit down. She said, you stood up. But I told you to sit down. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, you'll be president in a few days. She said, what you are doing, with what you will do, will take you to the nations of the world. She said, with what you will do, it will take you to the nations of the world. And I believed what she said. And with my group, we went from secondary school to secondary school. We had meetings. And we were able to touch some lives. That is why you will see me in the first part till August. I taught foundation class every Sunday. Some people might not understand the reason. And later we moved it to the version of prayer and healing school to the end of the year. In January again, we pick up with the foundation class version. Listen, one thing, when I left foundation school in 1997, when I graduated in foundation school in 1997, our teacher told us something. He said, with this note that you have written, you are qualified to be a missionary in any country. All those notes that you write, all those information you put in your phone and all those things, see, don't throw them away. Because you could find yourself in places. There might not be church there. There might not be any church there. All those, your notes, are things you fall back on. That is what many people don't understand. These things that we are learning, they are things we live our life with. They will produce cars for you. They will produce houses for you. Listen, I always tell people, listen, when I see people that all they do is natural things, listen, they can lose all those natural things. Haven't you seen